Hey everyone, good evening to you all. Welcome to another Wednesday evening's broadcast of Sears Bite and a Mouthful. I just pray that your week so far has been an amazing one. I just ask that just sit back, relax for the next couple of minutes as we just look at a noble institution, the Rosemont in Primary and Infant School located in Jamaica, St. Catherine to be exact. Joining us this evening, we just want to look at this noble institution, as I said, looking at the major stakeholders. We'll have with us this evening the chairman of the board of the school, we have the principal, and we have an amazing group of alumni, past students who have decided that they want to give back to their institution of choice. So please join me and in welcome in at this time none other than the chairman of the board, Mr. Reverend Mr. Courtney Golden, and then we have Principal Mrs. Malika Sinclair Bailey. We have the Liaison Officer of the Rosemount Alumni Association, Mr. Wayne Ronwind. And we have also joining us Mrs. Dolores Reynolds, who is herself a past student and the secretary of the Rosemount Alumni Association. Ladies,
Hi,
gentlemen,
guys.
a very pleasant good evening to you all. Thank you so much for joining me. And I should also say that we are having a little problem in having the president of the association linked into this group right now. He has been trying to get on. I'm not sure what is happening, but as I go along, I will try to sort that out and to have him join us in the stream in a short while. So, Reverend Golden,
Hi, how are you?
Principal Bailey, Mr. Ronwind, and Mrs. Reynolds. It's
Hi,
amazing
Martin. Good evening.
you guys in this fashion this evening. And as I said, I know our president of the Rosemont Alumni Association will be joining us soon. However, Reverend Golden is limited on time because he has, as you know, he's a reverend. He has other things of the Lord that he has to look into as a matter of urgency. And so what I will do, I'll throw a few questions at him, not physically throw because I don't want to hit him with a rock, but I have a few questions that I have for him, and so we can release him from this platform. So, Reverend Golden,
Yeah.
thank you so much for taking up the mantle of being the chairman of my past school, my alumni. Thank you so much. I know you yourself is not a past student, but can I ask you, firstly, just to introduce to our audience, just to tell our audience who is Reverend Courtney Golden professionally, and maybe just a little bit anything personal that you might want to add in.
Okay, good. Your time is evening. My
Mm-hmm.
time is also evening. Am I correct?
Right.
Yes.
Right. So, good evening. Let me first of all thank you for allowing us, myself, Madam Principal, to be a part of this wonderful media presentation. Let me acknowledge your guest, Ron Wint. How are you, Mr. Wint? Miss Dolores Reynolds.
Hi,
Um,
Mr. Taylor.
understanding that the chairman of the president of the alumni is going to be on also.
Right.
Marcia, the host, we go back a long way from days of church. So, so for me personally, I attended another primary school in St. Catherine, the Yorton Primary. Then went on to attend St. Jago. Mr. Wint is a gentleman. I'm currently the chaplain of his past school. So I'm a chaplain for the Dental Technical High School for the past 18 years now. Um, having attended St. Diego, I left and I went straight to work. However, along the way, I've done some studies with the College of Technology and the university. Um, it was CAS at the time. Now it is now a university in Jamaica. Um, I wear a number of hats. I don't know which one to tell you about, but just to say that um, I'm involved in. I'm also a sales representative with the leading life insurance company in Jamaica, Sagicor. I have served Sagicor in a number of categories at one point in time. I was an assistant branch manager. I also moved on to become a branch manager at another rival company, Island Life. Then I came back to Sad. Then I went to another brokerage house where I was manager
Hi,
um,
good evening.
in charge of their life life part of the business.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Gordon. So I am really I half of my involvement. I really there's a lot of things. Currently, I do a lot of
You are
training
in the show.
here for the industry. I train sales
Everyone can
representatives.
see and hear you.
I train managers. A certified trainer with the AMTC Agency Manager Training course, which is run from LIMRA there in the United States. I'm also a certified trainer with the American College of Insurance there in the United States also. So I in church, I'm a member of a church board. I'm also a pastor of the Orange Tree Pentecostal Church for the past 20 years or 21 years. So I am my wife Sandra and I, we just celebrated 36 years together as
Awesome.
um I look young, I look like 35. Thank you.
Me not hear them.
We have three wonderful sons, grandchildren. So God has been good to us. There's a lot more I could tell you, but that will hold for the time being, I think. But thanks for allowing us to be here to share the story of Rosemount with you.
Okay, great. Thank you so very much, Reverend Golden. You're talking about being celebrating 36 years and being pastor for 20 years. But looking at you, you don't look like you passed either of those numbers. So
Yes.
I guess, there's a scripture that says that the blessings of the Lord, it make it rich and it addeth no sorrow.
No?
So I guess your no sorrow is that it doesn't add age to you. It just gives you
Mm?
you in your favor.
That
But
is good.
Golden, on a serious note, when and why did you gain interest in the Rosemont primary and infant? Um,
Try YouTube though.
You know,
Try YouTube.
it's a very strange and unusual story. The truth is, I know Rosemount from the time it was being built. At the time, the first principal was Mr. McNabb. His daughter is now a doctor. Mr. McNabb, we used to call him Gully Bull. He carried a he carried a persona that drove the school to a high level of
mhm,
achievement. At one time, there were over 1,200 students, I think, at the school in the days as a junior high school.
mhm.
However, for my involvement here, I must tell you, I'm still wondering how I got involved. I was I was told that there was a package to pick up at the school. So one of the teachers brought it to me. When I opened it, I saw the letter of the letter from the ministry to say that I'm the chairman of the board. So it's it's
Nice.
it's a I really didn't have an involvement, but however, that was 5 years ago. The moment I got the instrument, I started working right away. Got a good team to work with. At the time, the school was having some real challenges, but here we are. So that is my
Okay.
involvement.
Okay, and before we go any further, I just want to let everyone know that we have the president of the Alumni Association joining us, and that's the person of Mr. Thomas Gordon. And if you're hearing me, Mr. Gordon, can you just nod your head? Mr. Gordon, are you hearing me? Okay, he's not hearing me. So I will continue. Um, so you said your tenureship has been great so far. But let me ask you, you said this has been 5 years. So let me ask, should this position become available because it's renewable after how many years? Would you care to say?
It's a 3-year appointment. You're
Okay.
appointed for 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I suspect they look at what is done, and if they are, I guess, if they are pleased, then they will refer you for reappointment. So
Mm-hmm.
I was referred the second time around.
Mm-hmm.
In the second year of that reference.
So would you be willing, Mr. Golden, to take up another tenor should it becomes available to you?
Oh boy, that's the truth be told, um, Marcel, I I've been serving the school over 5 years. We have a
Mm-hmm.
great principal now. When we came on, our principal stayed with us for another. I think he stayed with us another 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went into retirement, and we had to then um, hunt for a new principal. Would I stay on for another 3 years? I if allowed, I would do another 3 years. If allowed, I would continue to work. We are on a roll, and our new principal. Should we stay on together for another 3 years? Rosemont is going to go places.
Okay. So I know you don't have much time with us and you have to go, but can you leave your parting word to us, please?
You know, if you're when you're going to serve, you've got to understand you're not serving yourself. You're serving people. And in serving people is going to cause at times that you serve even at your own discomfort. If you're in an environment and you are not achieving, my word is don't stay and spoil the boat, spoil the pot.
Mm-hmm.
Move on. If you are in it and you're having achievements, don't claim it for yourself because it's not you, it's us, all of us. And so this is where I'm most grateful to the help from the other members of my board, my vice chairman, Ms. Cardina Clark, Mr. Don Lewis, Mrs. Reed, representing the PTA, Mrs. Thomas, representing the academic staff, and of course our principal, Miss Malika Sinclair Bailey, who is a tremendous achiever. She's an energizer bunny. She works real hard. She
Mm-hmm.
she she she, she will work herself to a frazzle. I must tell you now, Marcel,
Mm-hmm.
she there's a place behind the school where there's bush. Well, she's just reaping corn and pump and she has and also melon. She stops at nothing. In other words, she serves beyond herself. And I am very, very pleased to represent her
Mm-hmm.
and to recommend her to you. She's still learning the work. She'll tell her that I'm a new principal and I don't know much. But it's a good thing because if she knew much, well, she would sleep at night. So my word is serve, not expecting reward.
Amen.
Because the thing about service is once you're doing well, reward must come.
True.
When we took up Rosemount, the number at the school was about 68,
True.
was it? It was not 100. And with the other first principal, we took to the road. it was a lot of problems. A lot of problems was at the school. A lot of problems. As a matter of fact, the vice principal currently has been there now for over 24 years. So she knows where Rosemont is coming from. I want to thank the alumni for the work you have done. I want to thank the day I met you, Marcel, when you endeavored to talk to me to see what was happening. We spoke, and the rest is history. Shortly after, I met Mr. Gordon, and Mr. Gordon gave us commitment. I met Wayne. Incidentally, Wayne and I, we go back a far way. Patrick, your treasurer, we essentially go together from first form to sixth form. So the members of your board are person that we have worked together from school days. I say to the alumni, your work, you have done tremendously well. You have Mr. Gordon, I want to lift my hat to you and the team that you serve, sir, for the way that you don't complain. Just a boy, I'll give you a tin of paint. Why do you want the brush? You give us the paint, the brush, and everything, and I've never heard you complain. So I really want to lift my hat to you for your work, Marcel. You have been a real fires started with a match, and you lit that match, and here we are this evening. And so I encourage alumni. I encourage Mrs. Reynolds. First time meeting you. It's a pleasure meeting you and the other
Same
members.
here.
And so my responsibility is very wide, because this evening I was on Facebook Live last night. I'm preparing now for Bible class tonight. I really am sorry that I can't stay on with you much longer. But just to say though, that, thanks for the work you're doing.
Well,
the work has just begun, and as much as you have done so well. To Ms.
Thank you
Bailey,
so much.
Mrs. Bailey, encourage her to continue doing the work she has been doing along with her team. She has a dedicated set of staff, and the community is now warmed to her and her staff. And may you continue growing. And we stay here in the background to with the wings beneath your wings and to keep you going.
Thank you so very much, Reverend. It sounds like we were just about warming up to preach. But,
Yes.
it's a lucky thing that you didn't have the time, because last night, you gave me an entire science class about, the atmosphere and the this and the that and the over how many years this has been in existence. So I know you were just warming up, Rev. The preaching was coming on, but thanks be to God, you don't have much time. So, so we are spared. But definitely we thank you so much. We know that it's been a short run for you, because you just got home and you made yourself available, and we really appreciate that, and we really do thank you for the service that you have been offering to the Rosemount primary and alumni. And we ask, we just pray your continued blessing as you go along. We know that Rosemount is not the only public institution that you serve. And so for each place that you have placed yourself to be used, we just give you thanks.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us again, Reverend Golding.
God bless you and have a wonderful evening. And
Thank you.
may your evening be successful. Mr. Wayne, do all of our best, sir. See you at dinner till another time.
Indeed, sir. Indeed. Yeah. God
Take
bless
care.
you. Yeah.
Sir, we don't really want him at Dintil during the summertime now, because
Yes.
like those of us who are here and we don't have the nice East Indian mangoes and stuff. So let him stay right where he is right here for now. All right? Don't mash up the head right now.
No,
Where
but
he's
you don't give any ideas. Okay, all of
no,
this.
don't give him any ideas. All right, Reverend Golden. Thank you
Bless
so
you,
much.
man.
Bless
Take
you.
care now.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
We're still trying to see how we can. You can just up off when you're ready, Reverend Golden.
Nope, no problem. No problem.
Okay, so we're still trying to get Mr. Gordon on the line. But while we do so, we just want to say that this evening's program is being sponsored by Dreams to Reality events and more. And as we go along, you will hear more about Dreams to Reality. So while we try to see if we can get Mr. Gordon online, we still have two representatives. And you see how important it is that, as an organization, we have different members because
Yes.
anything can happen and our person or persons can't be on. And so we have someone present who can take the organization going forth. So I will move on to Madam Principal. Mrs. Bailey, I used to ask persons coming on the show for a brief bio, but I've stopped. And the reason for that is because when I read a bio, I'm just reading. Viewers are not, they're listening, but they're not listening. But you see, when each speaker speaks about themselves, I find that our viewers pay more attention to it. They are more attuned. So I'm going to ask each member with me here right now on this platform, Mrs. Bailey, Mrs. Reynolds, Mr. Wint, you notice we left you for the last because it's a lady before gentleman, except when the cow come in. So we leave
Right?
you for a little bit. And then you're the only male here also, Mr. Wint. So you really don't have much footing to stand on right now. So I'm going to ask each person just to introduce themselves and just to give a brief, just a couple, maybe a 1 minute, 1.5 minute intro to themselves professionally and personally.
Thank you so very much for having me, Ms. Harris. Thanks for having me on this wonderful platform. It's a very light evening. So, my name is Malika Sinclair Bailey. I am the principal of the very wonderful Rosemount Primary and Infant School. In the year 2001, I graduated from Shortwood Teachers College, where I majored in language and linguistics. We would say double English. I taught English for over 20 odd years. And I was for the most of my professional life, was at Green Park Primary and Junior High School in Sandy Bay, Clarendon. So that's where I spent most of my professional years. I taught at high school, right out of college, Happy Grove High School in Portland. And then I came to Clarendon to continue my work life. Since then, I would have garnered a first degree in education, and I'm now a master's degree in leadership and administration from the Northern Caribbean University. I'm a proud mother of 3 wonderful children. Lamarck is 23. My daughter is at the Dental Technical, entering 3rd form, 14 years old, and my son would have just graduated from Rosemount Primary and Infant and anticipating his school of choice. I'm a very active member of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and I love people. I will conclude on that. I love people. And one of my favorite Bible texts, do unto others as you would have had them do unto you. And I take that with me wherever I go, whether in the church or in the community or every child who comes to me. I take that thought with me that whatever I would have wanted well for myself, I would have wanted it for others. So that is just a synopsis of who I am, and I know our host will guide me with the questions with regards to Rosemount Primary and Infant Schools. Thank you.
Okay,
Great.
thank you so much, Mrs. Bailey and Mrs. Reynolds.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thanks for having me, Marcia, MH, as I affectionately called you, my schoolmate and dear friend.
Thank you.
I'm Dolores Reynolds. I'm a past student of the famous Rosemount All Age, then. Now it's primary and infant school, and also Dental Technical High School. I am a wife and a mother of 2 adult children, Dwayne and Danielle, and mother-in-law and of Danielle and Jodian. I have 2 lovely grandkids, Ariana and Dylan. I'm a certified healthcare worker and a dietary host in New York, and I presently serve as the secretary of the Rosemount Alumni Association of New York. I'm here on vacation and you're working me, but it's all good. I'm so happy to represent the alumni of New York, Rosemont alumni of New York. I'm very passionate about this alumni, and we'll see where it takes us tonight. Thank
Oh,
you.
okay. Awesome. And for now, Mr. Wint, you're the only man on our platform. So guess what? One, two, three ladies plus whatever our viewership is, maybe you're way outnumbered. So I yield the floor to you, Mr. Wint. Can you tell us who is Wayne Ron Wint?
Well, let me humble myself and claim the blessing that awaits me, being surrounded by the bouquet of beautiful
Flowers.
array of lovely women that God has furnished us with on this beautiful earth. It's a joy to be here with you guys.
Thank you.
Let me first extend my gratitude to my very dear friend, our host, Miss Marcia Harris, for this invitation to share with you on this evening on speaking on behalf of our delighted and illustrious institution, the
Mr. Wint, may I ask you to pause 1 second? I'm sure Mr. Gordon is back with us and I'm trying to see if he can hear or if we can hear him. Tommy, can you hear us? Mr. Gordon, can you hear us? Let me see. Okay, let me see if I can give him some volume and if that will add to him. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, Mr. Wynn. Please go ahead.
Okay. Again, I want to express my gratitude for the invitation to share with you this evening. This little mouthful about the Rosemount junior and infant school. Now, in our during our tenure, it was the Rosemount all age.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh, I am a graduate, a 1978 graduate of Rosemount. Um, yes, I am grown. I want to put emphasis on that. I am grown. The youthfulness is just an abundance of God's grace and mercy upon my life. Um, in 1978, I graduated the Rosemount and went on to the illustrious Dintel Technical High School, after which I migrated to the United States. I'm a retired United States Marine. Um, and I am currently a seasoned member of the IBEW. For those who would like to know what the IBEW is, that is the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. I'm a licensed electrical contractor um, here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And no, no, I don't have money. I'm broke. Yes, I'm a licensed electrician and a contractor, but I am broke. I am very satisfied with the little that I have. Um, but however, I have learned that little is much in the master's hand. And for that reason, I delight in sharing whatever God has blessed me with. And what better way I find in sharing than sharing with my alma mater, the Rosemount Alumni Association, Rosemount Primary and Infant School. I delighted in sharing with them my time, my efforts, and my resources. Whatever it may be, whatever little it may be, it's a pleasure and delight in sharing with them. I must tell you that I am the person that I am today thanks to the many men and women of our community in Linstead who instill the great values of life. Even though they were not mother or father, they still back in them those days, Miss Harris, we lived by the motto: a village. And it
Village.
is that village upbringing that helped to shape and mold me in making me who I am today, and for which I am eternally grateful. So, therefore, it becomes a joy in giving back to my community.
Okay, that's more than a mouthful. Mr. Gordon, are you hearing me now? Tommy? Mr. Gordon? Okay. Mr. Gordon is having technical issues as it relates to volume and speech. So we will just continue. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're viewing us. We are having some challenge with our president of the Rosemont Alumni Association getting his speech and hearing going. But if you see me looking down, I'm trying to see if I can guide him along the way somewhere to see if we will be able to hear from our noble president. And so I start with you, Madam Principal. Oh, and when, Mrs. Bailey, did you come to stake your claim in the management of this noble institution? And when did you take up this position?
Thank you for that question. So I saw the application in the Gleaner, and the rest is history. I started May 1, 2019, as a very new principal, new to the capacity, new to the area. So I started 2019 after seeing the advertisement in the Gleaner for this school wanting a principal. And I was encouraged by my colleagues at my former school to apply, and the rest is history.
Okay. The rest, as they say, is history. So, may I ask, can you summarize the members of your team that makes your institution, your tenure, as successful as it is now? I'm sure it says no man is an island, no man stands alone. And I'm sure that while you are at the helm of this institution, I'm sure that you have many hands that are holding you up.
Yes. Um, I hold to that view. No man is an island. And before I even start listing the members of the team, I must applaud them for the hard work they have put in and the support that they continue to give. So we have, as earlier came on, we have a very active board of governors headed by Reverend Courtney Golding. He listed the members. I have right at my right hand, Miss Suzette Dunn, and I'm going to ask you on the platform to just give her a round. Or Vice Principal, thank you so very much. Or Vice Principal, Miss Suzette Dunn, I tell you, a worker, exemplar at what she does. You have a male guidance counselor now, because the transition from junior high school would have seen us now having one guidance counselor. His name is Mr. Raymond Davis. We have a number of senior teachers now who would have worked in with the administration to make the plans for the school. So presently there are 16 academic members of staff. There are 16 academic members of staff. And this would include those teachers who are senior teachers also. Then we have our support staff. We have an executive secretary, Miss Karen Rodney. We have presently an assistant bursar, Miss Fiona Robinson Bent, and Mrs. Fiona Robinson Bent. And then we have the persons, especially who I have at my right hand, the persons who do the work on the grounds, who help with the general decor of the school and the ambience of the school. And when you enter the school, these workers are very dear to me. We have two groundsmen. We have Mr. Garwood and we have Mr. Mills, who seek to the maintenance of the plant. we have two cleaners presently, Miss Yvonne Douglas and Miss Carol Gardner. So we have two cleaners, two groundsmen, and we also have maximum security. We are still blessed at Rosemount to have 24-hour watch men. We have Mr. Fothergill, we have Mr. Blair, and we have Mr. Thomas. And then we have those relief watch persons who work on the weekends. So that's a general look of what the staffing of Rosemount is.
Okay, wonderful. But Mrs. Bailey, I'm just trying to go through you guys as my Mr. Gordon. Are you hearing me now? Mr. Gordon? Still nothing. Mrs. Sinclair, I know that your institution, just like with any other business entity, does have its fair share of challenges. Can you tell us, our listeners, viewers, some of your coping mechanism that you have put in place and why?
All right, so there are many challenges that we would have been facing as an institution, some of which we cannot divulge in the public space as we seek to have those issues dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
One of the major issues that we have at the institution is the transition from junior high school into a primary and infant school would have caused the school to have a drop in population.
Mm-hmm.
When the school was a junior high school, the population was very extensive. And now, upon transition to primary and infant, we find that there was a massive drop.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the major things we have to be doing, and I don't know if I want to say coping, but one of the ways in which we're dealing with this is from the tremendous support that we would have been receiving from the Rosemount alumni and other past student groups, and also the business community, members of the community at large. We are having persons promoting the school, okay, talking about its systems and its programs that are offered and those programs that will be offered. And that is one of the greatest happenings at Rosemont right now. Although we have that challenge where persons did not want to send their children there anymore because of, I don't know what they say about junior high schools and the stigma, but now the primary school, we have to be getting it into the minds of the community that the school is no longer a junior high school, it is now a primary and infant school. And because it's not about me alone, not even the persons who work immediately at the school, it's about an entire network of persons who are seeking to promote. And that right now is one of the best cushions that the school could ever have. And we want to, again, thank our stakeholders for this support.
Okay, awesome. Mrs. Bailey, what is the number, the registration number at the institution now? And what was it when you took over the institution?
All right. So when I came to Rosemont, I don't want to be specific about the numbers when I came, but I do know that. Let me give an average of 80 students. We're talking about 80 students, or let us say 88 students. All right, just to give the benefit of the doubt. When I took office, and we're talking about a school that has a capacity of almost 1,000 students.
Wow.
So in the first year, at the end of the first year, we have on record 125 students who came as active participants to the institution. And we want to thank all the stakeholders again for the wonderful support that you have given. The Rosemont alumni in particular, I tell you, you were the first set of persons who came on board, and you printed flyers and banners, and you had functions to support the promotion of the school, and we had that. Coming down in the year now, we are in preparation mode again for September, and in a couple months, you know, we have been promoting, really talking to the people in the community, and we can report today that we have 107 pre-registered for September. Today, I called all the new grade 1 parents, which is over 50, and it is excellent and commendable.
Very good.
So you're saying that going into September, you already have 107 new registration?
Yeah, pre-registration. So they're in the process of bringing in their documents. Yes, they have signed in online. They have pre-registered online. Some persons have walked into the school. Some persons have called in. For example, a parent, a lady in the community came today with 2 children, and it is continuous. However, on record, those who have pre-registered, it's 107 for September in a couple of months.
That's amazing. And we are yet have another almost 2 months to go before school begins.
Yes.
That's extremely amazing.
Yes.
But Mrs. Bailey, knowing a little bit about you and a little bit about your management style, it's not strange to me, because you have been dubbed the people's principal. You have also been dubbed the singing principal. And, you told me your favorite Bible scripture earlier on. You told us, you told your viewers. But what song, because you're the singing principal, what song do you draw on for aspiration, inspiration in your weakest moments? Do you want to share a verse, a chorus, something with us?
Yeah, I'm Sister Sia. I tell you, it's because I do a lot of singing, but miss, I have so many songs. So let me just draw one. This one says, and I sang it for a particular alumni that is on this program. He preached, and one of my favorite songs is "He's Been Faithful to You." He's been faithful. So one verse says, "In my moments of fear, through many pain, many tears, there's a God who's been faithful to me." Amen. When my strength was all gone, when my heart, it had no song, still in love, God's been faithful to me. Every word His promise is true. What I thought was impossible, I've seen my God do. He's been faithful, faithful to me. Looking back, His love and mercy I see. In my heart, I have questioned, even failed to believe that He's been faithful, faithfully in my heart. I have questioned, even failed to believe, but God's been faithful, faithful to me. He's been faithful. He's been faithful. God's been faithful. He's been faithful, faithful to me.
You know, Mrs. Bailey, it is said that for someone, it is said that the joy of your blessing, your ministry, whatever, it's not being prepared, you know, as in pre-preparation, but it's being prepared for any moment, any time that you have been called upon. Thank you so much for that rendition. Faithful God is indeed.
Yeah.
And so let me, as I said, I'm just gonna just try to be done with you, and then I move on to the other members of the board. But you know, what are some of your major impacts that your tenure has brought about to the institution, other than we know you have doubled, tripled the numbers that you have gone there and seen? What are some of your major impact on the institution that you may say? And what has brought about these?
Okay. I must say that there are a number of impressive happenings at the Rosemont Primary and Infant School. And I'm going to just talk about, let me find about 4 points to talk on because we will take the entire night. So, on entering the school, initially, when you looked at the state of the building, okay, that was an issue when you would not have had the school really looking beautiful, the aesthetics and the painting. And I must thank the Rosemont alumni for repainting the outside. I can tell you, because of that, and before I came, a former principal said to me, Miss Bailey, when you go to the school, Miss Bailey, when you go to the school, make sure that you throw some paint on the school. And that's one of his method. And it worked because there was a buzz in the community that why this a principal, and I do not take the credit for myself. I would say to them, thanks to the past students for doing this. Yes, it has brightened the environment. When persons visit the institution, they talk about how beautiful Rosemount is, and we thank you. Another positive for Rosemount is that we are now a secured school. And we again want to thank the Rosemont alumni for hosting a concert on Love FM, which proceeds was used to allow us to have maximum security at the school. A school that had a history of breaking, a school that had a history of things being missing, and so on. And so we feel more secure, especially with a female administration. You know, we really feel more secure because of the security system that has been put in place by the alumni. We also want to look at, for the institution, how the staff is now feeling. And you can test the waters. You can know when your staff is satisfied with how the administration works along with meeting their needs, works along with them, meeting their needs as they seek to impact the students. And I must tell you that if you have your staff working with you, and this is not about who like who or who don't like who, that's beside the point. The issue is when we can come to the table and work for the greater good of the institution, and we do get that feel that we have our staff at that place as we seek to grow together where they can impact in a positive way. parents are talking about it, about the quality of teaching and learning that they are receiving from Rosemount Primary and Infant School. And that is something to talk about. So if you have a staff, we're talking about if you have an academic staff that is meeting as best the needs of the children, then we will have exponential growth, and we will have that camaraderie, that professional camaraderie that will cause the team to work well together and effectively.
Thank you, Mrs. Bailey. Well said. I told you the other day that you need to go to politics, but then the association doesn't want you to shift because they can't afford to lose you out of Rosemount. And you might have seen me doing a little happy jig earlier on. Mr. Gordon is online and he can hear us and he can speak. Mr. Gordon, welcome. You see, persistence. My grandmother always said, anything that is good, you're going to get a fight. So thank you for
Yes.
fighting and for being with us. You had a little challenge, but you persevered. And so, welcome, Mr. Gordon. And I'm going to ask you, can you just introduce yourself to our viewers? Tell us who is Thomas Gordon and what do you do and why do you do what you do? I mean, without going into the alumni, just tell us, who are you professionally and personally?
Well, I'm Thomas Gordon, father of Jamila and Jamal Gordon, and husband to Dolores Gordon. I'm, a, I'm an engineer with the City University of New York, and I'm the president of Rosemont Alumni Association. Matter of fact, the first president.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I have been kind of pushing back the alumni to see if you would be able to join us before we actually started looking at the alumni. Mr. Golden, Reverend Golden, was with us earlier on, unfortunately, or he had to go because he had other commitment, church and otherwise. And so I just want to jump now to start looking at the Rosemount Alumni Association. How did we come up? How did you guys come up with that name? And tell us, what's your pet peeve, your little for Rosemount Alumni?
Well, as you all know, Mars, Rosemont, giving back to Rosemont, or an association of this sort, wasn't one person's idea. It was an idea born by Marcia, but she bring it to a few of us, and we decided, why not? And we got together over dinner, and Marcia have a relationship with the chairman. So while we were talking, she said, I get to understand that the chairman was Mr. Reverend Golden was the chairman, and we mentioned to Marcia, and she said, oh, I have his number. And she called him, and we were at dinner. We have him on the phone, and we said, tell us some of the things that the school wanted. And a few of our current members went down and met with him, and he pointed out a few things. I went down, and so first we start with the low hanging fruit. The grass was high, and it was a challenge to pay people to cut it because the budget at the school was very slim, and they had to pay to cut it. So first thing we got them was a weed whacker,
Mhm.
and we start from there. Then we said the school we need to make the school, give it a facelift, and we proceeded doing some fundraisers, and we got the building painted. It was a big job, but we are not afraid of challenges. So we decided that we are going to do these things before we come together as an official body to see if this is something we wanted to do. It is different when you can just come together, do a little fundraising, but then to become an official organization where it's administrative and things like that, it takes on a different toll. You understand? So after that, we decided to get money from people, and for people to give comfortable, we have to be officially registered. So we have meetings, and we invite people, and Some people come, some people stays, but I must say, the people who are committed are still with us from day one. We have Marcia, we got Del Reynolds, we got Clive Barrows, Les de Betancourt, Susan Morris, David Marshall, Wayne Wint, and Lloyd. And we also have Mr. Williams, who painted the school for us. Now on board, he's now one of our board members and our local liaison. So we started to do all of these things and getting things done. So I will heal. So you might have something else to say, because I will talk all night.
Well, Mr. Wind should be smiling truthfully because now he has a little manpower to help him, but you guys are still outnumbered. And so, Mr. Wind, I will ask you, because prior to my even reconnecting with Tommy, because I had no clue, no recollection of who Tommy was, I remember the idea of Rosemount Alumni was first thrown out to you even before any other member of the alumni. What made you eventually take up the offer to be not just a member of the alumni, but to actually volunteer to give your service on the board? And we all know you don't just volunteer your service, but you do other voluntary stuff that are tangible. Tell us a little bit about that, Mr. Wynn. Why have you decided to give back to your alma mater?
One of the first thing I would like to notate is that we need to understand that being a Jamaican is not a normal thing. Jamaicans are extraordinary worldwide. We are renowned worldwide. I have been blessed to travel over 40 something countries in this world. And everywhere you go and you say you're a Jamaican, somebody can relate to being a Jamaican. Somebody has something to say about Jamaica. And oftentimes, what they have to say about Jamaica, it is such a beautiful place. Now, we need to understand that in order for us to maintain that beauty, that essence of being a Jamaican, we have got to nurture the next generation, because that next generation has got to be the torchbearer. And that have always been my inspiration, always been the catalyst behind my willingness, my drive, my desire to give back, because I want to nurture the next Tommy Garden. I want to nurture the next Malika Sinclair. I want to nurture the next Ron Wint. I want to find that person in our community. And so we understand that that poverty is one of the ugly monster that oftentimes rear its head. And it's so important for us to teach our young people that our social and economical situation does not define who you are. And so, with that inspiration, it's a joy to share with others the beauty of my home country, Jamaica, Jamaica. Down in Jamaica, me born and grow. The Linstead soul, I love it so.
Go and rap a little bit more now. You can rap a little
No,
bit more, but
I may want to transition into preaching, because I
nothing
could
is
bring a
wrong with
word.
that. Nothing is wrong with that.
I want
Nothing.
to bring a word because rapping is not my strong suit. But understand that there is a joy, and let me tell you something. There's a saying I've heard it on several occasions: when Jamaican good, them good, and when them bad,
Them
mercy,
bad.
them terrible. You know, but we
Mhm.
don't we don't we don't we are not here to extenuate the negative, because just last month I was in Jamaica. Um, I had a wonderful time with my sister. You know her as the principal, But
Mm.
uh, truth be told, that's my little sister. We when I'm in Jamaica, we are actually inseparable. Um, we spend days together. We worship together. We if she's not at work, she's with me by my home. We sitting. We talking about how we can improve the school, how we can help the student, how we can grow the population of the school, how we can um, edify the students and empower them. But the other day, I was speaking with a group of engineering students, since that's my background at Dental. And one of the things that I share with the student is that they need to know, and that's one of the things that our principal, Madam Bailey, emphasized a lot in everything that she do, is that we need to teach our children they can do bad all by themselves. And because they can do bad by themselves, they need to choose wisely the friends that they keep, so that they could have someone that would empower them and encourage them to do the good. Because you don't need any help to do bad. You can do that all by yourself.
Amen, amen, amen. And so, I just want to acknowledge some of the comments that are coming in. We have Shamira Morgan sending out, love and blessing. Then we have Donna Thompson. And then we have another person who's saying, go Rosemont, go Rosemont, go Rosemont, go Rosemont, go. But, while we are talking, just want to take a pause for a minute just to get our ad going on. Wedding and event needs from A just to for a break. We specialize in Jamaican destination weddings, parties, corporate functions and fundraisers, graduations, bridal, baby, or graduation showers. Email us at dreams underscore to reality, that's the number 2, at outlook.com. Dreams to reality. No dream or budget is too big or small. We are here to realize them all. Okay, so we've gotten that out of the way. So let us look at our Madam Keeper, records keeper, secretary, administrative assistant. I mean, the role of the secretary has changed so much over the years. Initially, when I wanted to be a secretary, it was said that you were a typist, right, Dale?
Yes.
That's what we learned in high school. And then it came on, we became secretaries, and then we became professional administrators or whatever. I don't even remember the amount of
Accounting,
I know I
everything.
did CPA, then I did the professional, whatever you call it. I mean, the role has changed so much over the year, but the functions remain the same, although the functions tend to become a little bit more upbeat to go along with the title. Um, Madam Secretary,
Yes, please.
let me ask you, well, let me tell the world that when giving back came to thought, I mean, when God plant a seed, sometimes you'll plant a seed, it doesn't spring forth at the same time. Sometimes you plant a seed, and sometimes you don't even remember that it's there because guess what? It's not germinating, it's not coming out of the soil.
Sure.
But guess what? Keep watering. I read something recently that a employer was trying to test his employee. I guess he was looking for honesty and integrity. So it is said that he gave each employer who he was like had a thought that would probably be able to take over his company. He gave each of them a seed, and he told them that for 1 year he's looking for the next manager who will take over from him. But he gave them each a seed, and he told them that for 1 year water this seed, and 1 year to date from today you're going to come back into my office with what the seed has brought forth. So everybody, this young man kept seeing everybody talking about their seeds and how much it was growing and how much it was yielding. But his seed was not doing anything. And he watered and nothing was coming out of it. And he kept saying he's not going to water it anymore because it's not bearing. And so he started to feel ashamed because everybody was now talking, coming into the office, oh, my tree is now this, my tree has yielded that. But his wife said to him, that is why, men, you have to thank God for when you have a good, sensible
Good.
woman. So
True.
his wife said to him, the instruction was given to you to water for a year. Keep watering the plant. Anyhow, the day came that he should go back to his boss. And as they gathered together, everybody had something protruding out of their pot. His pot was dead. There was nothing there. So the boss took them all in and, he assessed them, looking at all the nice, beautiful trees and plants that was coming up. And at the end of it, like say my pot didn't have anything. He said, well, Marcia, congratulations. You're the next CEO of this company. And everybody was like, and so the boss said to them, I gave you all boiled seeds. The seeds were boiled in hot water, so they could not reproduce.
Right?
What each person did was that as they watered their seed and nothing was coming forth,
They
they
bought.
went and bought seeds that replaced the seeds that their employer gave them. So that is showing dishonesty and all the other works. So just to be honest is like such a blessing. I
True.
have always spoke about the first beating my brother gave me. I was maybe about 7 years old, and that was because I lied. I something for him and I lied about it. And he told me, he said, I wasn't beating you because you used the stuff. I was beating you because you lied. And so lie is not something that I try to play with because firsthand I know the consequence of that. But Del, I'm coming back to you and I'm saying to you that because of you, Mr. Gordon said earlier on that no one person, but everything starts with a seed, right? And so when I planted the seed and when I gave it to you, you said, Marcia, in order for this seed to grow, it needs Tommy to water it. And so Tommy became the watering person. The Bible pastor, minister Ron will tell us that Tom plant, whatever sow, whatever watered, but it is God who give the increase. And
That
so
is right. That is
that
right.
association is coming about in its increase because of our ability to merge and to work together as a team. So, oh, Dell is gone. We lost her. So let me throw that out to you, Mr. Ronwin, because how important is it for team to work together?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's a key. That is like the main artery that takes the blood from the heart to the rest of the body. You got to have cohesiveness. You got to have together. I share with you real quick when Madam President, Principal rather, came to Rosemount. Um, I want to tell you that my wife and I got into Jamaica. We stopped over in Jamaica for one day. So just so she was there probably 2 weeks, and I said to my wife, we were going out on a cruise, and I said, honey, this cruise is going to stop in Jamaica. I have to make my way to Linstead, and I have to meet the principal.
Mhm.
And she's like, we on vacation? I said, yes, but I have to meet this principal because I have got to know the person with whom I have to work with because I have garnered from my team members the zest, the willingness, the excitement, the fiery flames that has been ignited within them to want to give back to this illustrious institution. And so I have resolved within myself that I need to meet the catalyst behind this operation, which is Madam Principal. And so we went down to Linstead, and I met with Mrs. Bailey, and the rest is just history. we have literally become inseparable. We each time I'm in the island, we all over the place together. We are both um, Seventh Day Adventist Christians, and we both serve the Lord in many different capacities. She's a minister and singing evangelist, and I am a preaching evangelist. And so together we not only zestful about the children at Rosemount, but we are zestful about ministering and winning souls for the kingdom of God. But our our togetherness is this signifies the importance of teamwork.
Okay. And so, Madam Secretary, you had gotten disconnected a little bit,
Yes.
but I'm
Yes.
asking you, I mean, because you are a team player, how important is a teamwork to you?
Very important, Marcia. Nicola Facey, she's now green.
Mhm.
Many years ago, she keep asking me, what are we going to do for Rosemount? And with this in mind and meeting up with you, then get connected to Tommy, said, we have to do something because I've always have a passion doing something for Rosemount School. It has helped to mold me into the person I am today, you know, and I could not have been a better person without Rosemount and Dintil. My mother, God rest her soul, she did not have much raising us as children, as a single parent, because my father had passed on very early at age 42. And so, with what she had, she cared for us and wanted her children to have an education. And when I look into it, I said, there must be children there at the school who are in the same situation that I, as a child, was in. And I said to myself, so much persons asking, want to do something for Rosemount. We have to do something. So I found a good team. I keep bugging Wayne because Wayne and I are close to. I keep calling him the Wayne, but I know Wayne is involved in a lot of other organization. But I wanted him on the team because he's very strong at this point. He knows a lot about the alumni because he's into it a long time. And Tommy, the community person, you say, we need a team. And you, Marcia, a very strong person as well, when you told me about what you wanted to do and how many times you came to Rosemount and, put in certain thing and you never get an answer. I said, listen, let's reach out to Tommy. And reaching out to Tommy brought us right here tonight
Mhm.
because Tommy didn't stop. And this is what a team does. You have somebody who is very strong and want to take us to the next limit. And this is it. Raw has been formed.
Amen. There are three members of the Rosemont alumni. And Mrs. Bailey, I'm coming back to you because this is not over your head because all that the association has been doing comes right back to you. The little song says, love is something if you give it away, it comes right back to you. It's a magic penny. So you are the recipient of the magic penny, Rosemount. So between Mr. Gordon, Mrs. Reynolds, and Mr. Wint, can you just tell us a little bit about when the organization was officially formed? Can you further tell us what are some of the things that the association has been able to achieve thus far?
Okay, our official registration date is November 18, 2018. And, we have 12 board members, We have a president, we have two vice president, a secretary. We have two treasurers, Mr. Patrick Hicks and Cedric Allen. We have our liaison, Mr. Ranwint, and we also, our local liaison is Mr. Herman Williams. We have other two other, we have Susan Morris, our Assistant Public Relation Officer, and we have two other board members in Mr. Lloyd Cunningham and David Marshall. So that's our 12 board members. But we have been doing a lot of things, and as I said, with the selection by the board chair to select Madam President, principal, I think that make compliment our team, because I don't know if we had somebody else, if we would have gotten so much thing done, because we demand high standard, and she is up to the challenge. If we said we are going to do this, she said she's ready for it. She give us all the support locally to do what we're doing. We said, look, we are going to introduce this to the school. Are you open for it? Because remember, when we got together, it's more like we don't want to go to run school. You understand? We want to give school things that will help them, to support them. So we were committed to extracurricular things. That would be mostly our goal, but we find out that there's infrastructure problem at the school, and to get to education, you got to have good infrastructure. So we start with that. We would deal with security, as the principal speak of. We deal with other things like we're dealing with termites and things like that. These are some of the other things that we deal with, and some other inner infrastructure things that has to be done, renovation that had to be done to make when parents bring their child to school, they want them to feel comfortable and welcome and say, yes, this is where I want my child to be. You understand? And another thing, one of our goal is we want every child leaving Rosemount School to read at or above their grade level. We don't want somebody going to high school and don't know to get around. But as we talk with the principal and say, within the next 3 years, every child leaving the school, and thus we are introducing the Learn It tablet program, where we're going to sponsor the school with some tablets that will enhance learning. The principal saw it, and it was posted on our our WhatsApp page, and I think it's also on the Facebook. But these are some of the things that we are looking into to get. There's also the computer lab, which need to be refurbished. And that is one of our goal. After the Learn It, then we'll move on to that. So we are not just working; we are working with plans in place. As one finish, we know what is the next. We communicate with the principal, the board, to find out, and Marcia, as you will be spared in this. In 2023 is a big date for us, for Rosemount, when Rosemount will turn 50, which is a golden anniversary. So we are looking forward for teamwork here. We want to work with the staff, the board, the community, and all past students, alumni, everybody that walked through the gate of Rosemount. We want to have like a full week of celebration, as we dubbed it, from church to the banquet. You understand? So we look forward to things like that, and we know it's going to be done, because when Ross says it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
All right. Thank you so much, President Gordon. But liaison officer, Mr. Wint, can you just explain to us, as a liaison officer, what is your role? What is it you are called to do in that position?
Well, as a liaison office, my goal primary is to liaison between the school and the alumni body, in identifying the needs of the school, bringing back to the alumni body, and not only the alumni body, I also liaison with those on the ground in Jamaica. Example, I would want to liaison with even the local politician. I have initiated contact with both political parties in Jamaica, in soliciting help for the institution.
Mm-hmm.
However, the unfortunate thing is that there's an infectious um, plague that affects our community, our country at large, in that politics plays such a sad role in making or breaking uh, a, a community.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in recognizing that, I am learning more each day to steer away from it. And sometimes it just would mean that my colleagues and I would have to dig a little deeper and dig a little harder, because guess what? Our primary goals still remain every boy and every girl that walk through the gates of Rosemount. We want to ensure that we can provide for them the best environment suitable for their learning to be successful men and women in the future. And so we in recognizing the political endurance that may exist at time, we again, as alumni bodies, as Mr. Garden and Mrs. Reynolds will attest to, we have to dig a little harder. If it's required for me to give an extra $50, then I would have to give an extra $50. Why? Because the children come first. The
Yeah.
children come first, and we won't allow anything to get in our way in helping in whatever way we can. And so again, my job still remains liaison um, to whatever cause, to the needs of the students, and that's between the school and my alumni
Look,
body here in the United States.
So you're the middleman then, Mr. Wint. You're the man who can't take any side. You have to be very neutral when it comes on to making sure that the thing balance. You're that middle angle that we used to have the seesaw when we used to go to school. And if you can't tilt the other person, then two and three
balance.
on one side and whatever. But you have to keep the balance in check. All right, great, awesome. So, Madam Secretary, I'm sure your role and responsibility is not just to record um, information as the meetings are going on, but you have to have a very good sense, a recollection sense of some of the things that you have written in your minutes, things that have happened over the time. Because Mr. Gordon, our president, does not sleep. We all know that. He's always thinking about something. Sometimes he will call me at 12:30, 1 o'clock, and I'm like, man, go hug up your wife and leave me alone. But it's for the good of what we're doing. So
Right.
may I ask you, can you just tell our viewers, Madam President, since our inception, 11/8/2018, for those of us listening via Jamaica, it's November 8th, 2018, which makes us 2018, 19, 20. So the organization is not yet 3 years, right?
Now,
Based on, wow, amazing. Can you tell us what are some of the major achievements, whether it be fundraisers, whatever, anything major that the organization has been able to achieve during this time?
okay, we have quite a number of them. We have a virtual concert
Mm-hmm.
that we did as a fundraiser. We had a
Mm-hmm.
Christmas party as a fundraiser. That was 2019.
Mm-hmm.
2020, we weren't able to do much more than a virtual concert.
Mm-hmm.
And a sip and paint
Mm-hmm.
fundraiser. Right now, we are doing the bingo fundraiser with Yuja.
Mm-hmm.
for all the primary schools and high
Can you
school.
clarify for us what is usual?
UJ is the umbrella under which we are formed. We are like the
Okay.
baby for
Okay.
UJ.
Okay.
Can I assist my secretary here
Yes.
for a minute?
Yes.
UJA, for our viewing audience, is the United Jamaica Alumni Association. And what UJA is the mother of all alumni body here in the United States. All alumni bodies, whether it be an high school or a primary school, all of them comes under the umbrella of UJA. And UJA is like the mother that guides and direct, for lack of better terms, all the alumni bodies.
And
Um,
don't forget the colleges and the universities that they're also a part of usual too.
uh, Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. And just a minute, Mr. President, and just to assist again my illustrious secretary. I love her so
Thank
much.
you.
Um, one of a great accomplishment. It may not seem like a big accomplishment to other, but a major accomplishment that we have done as an organization is to get certified and approved by the government of the United States, by registering to become a 501c3 entity. And what that means, for all of you and audience out there who are business owners who would like to make a contribution to Rosemount, we are the entity through which you can do so, because when you donate to the Rosemont Alumni Association, your contribution is tax deductible. Come on, somebody ought to say amen for that.
Amen. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Can we take an offering for that one? You know,
Yeah.
our treasurer is not here. So in light of the fact that he's not here because he doesn't miss an opportunity to take an offering. So in light of him not being here, I'll take, I'll hold the treasury bag for him tonight. So if you want to make, give that offering, it's not too late to do so. Please join in. Go continue, Mr. Mr. Wayne.
Well, I
Yes,
was
sir. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
President.
Go
okay.
ahead.
Another thing to you, as Madam President Leslie Ann Samuels like to say, the fingers are the alumni, and UJA is the fist.
Yes.
You understand? So what happened, for example, during the pandemic, UJA was able to negotiate a laptop program for the alumni, where we did, I think it's over $11 million in Jamaican dollars in laptops that were sent to Jamaica high school and primary school. Some laptops also went to Rosemount. So and right now they are negotiating for us the tablet program, the learn a tablet program. They are also negotiating that for us. So they are the fist of the union that
Mhm.
for the union.
So, sometimes, Mr. President, when you use these four fingers and slap somebody, it's not as
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
powerful as when you
Powerful as a fist.
all those fists together and
yeah.
give it a forceful. So I'm going to go back. Is there something else you wanted to say, Mr. President?
So I'm just saying this is raw and this is Uja.
Yes, it is.
You understand?
So raw is just one finger of the many.
Although
Yeah.
we're the strong finger, we're the thumb. You
Oh,
understand?
you want to be the thumb. Okay.
But Uja is a fist.
Okay, great. All right. So I'll get back to Madam Principal. Madam Principal, all your dreams and your aspirations, I'm sure that you have them written on your vision board, because I'm sure that with your success that you have had within the short space of time, and based on what I'm seeing and recording here, you seem to have come on board about the same time that the alumni did. But can I ask you, what is there that you would like to share with us upcoming? And there are some major stakeholders that you speak about constantly who has been there supporting the school. Would you like to support? Would you like to just tell us something that is on your vision board that you would like to tick off before the school year starts. What is that? And just to give a shout out to, your stakeholders who have been there supporting you from day one.
Um, all the all the objectives, the major objectives for the 2020-2021 school year, I
Mhm.
must say, have been met. And this is
Oh,
commendable. The general objectives have been met. And, it breeds a sense of elation to know that there are many stakeholders who would have been a part of this process. The final two we had was an awards ceremony to highlight the children who would have done well academically. And we would have also had our online graduation ceremony, which really came off successful. But there are some stakeholders who have been integral throughout the year. I can't name all, but these are some of them who have really, whenever I call, they say they can't help. They can't help but aid our school. One reason I strongly believe for that is the transparency of the team with these institutions. Whatever help they give to the school, it is accounted for. And persons don't want to take up their hard-earned cash or resources to aid any failure or any institution that cannot give account for their gifts. And so we want to firstly, again, thank internal persons, the school board of management, for the able way they have guided us. We want to thank the alumni. We can't thank you enough for the many projects that you would have aided our school with. We want to thank two other sets of past students who have also come on board. One with Miss Patricia, who they call themselves a past students group. They have also been integral, and we have one with Miss Heather. I don't remember all the names, but that is batch of 84. They have also come to the school this year to make their presence felt. Then we have the business community, and we have the community of Linstead. We have the Linstead CDC headed by Mr. Smith, one of the most impactful community groups in Linstead. And the Rosemount School, they were really pleased to know that as a new principal and some teachers, we are active members of the CDC, and they have been integral in promoting our school for us. We have the pharmacists such as Dixon's Pharmacy, who Mr. Dimitri and his team, they have always supported and is supporting Rosemount in any way they can. We have the hardwares, and when we approach them, they also gift us recently Caban hardware, assisted by giving 2 sprinklers to the gardening, the farming project that we presently have at the school. I approached them, and they gave me 2 sprinklers to water the corn and the melon that would have been there.
Mrs. Bailey, you touched on that, and that was my next question to you. So while you touch on it, tell us about your recent farming project and what inspired it. Being as you touched on it, because that's what I was going to be going to next.
Okay. I'm coming from a school in Clarendon, Green Park Primary and Junior High School, that farming is integral. I'm also coming from the feet of one Mr. Dennis Clark, who was my high school principal in St. Thomas Technical High School. Dennis Clark, who was at Lintel Technical, and he was big on farming. When I was the head girl, I remember St. Thomas Technical, 1996, was exporting. And I know that with the farming initiative, it can benefit the school also financially. But I was struck one day when a very active teacher, said, Miss, I'm having consistent internet issues. And this teacher was a teacher who complains about resources, but they were having challenges. And my heart moved with compassion. And I went to the vice principal and I said, Miss, you know, that if I had the money, I would buy credit for all the teachers, you know, just to keep their data on because they have been sacrificing. The bills have gone up. They have their own children at home doing online. And I went outside and I told the groundsman, sir, I am going to buy some corn. I'm going to plant a cash crop, they call it, because I don't know so well, but I did my research. And I said, which one is the thing, sir? And I said, all right, let us do some sweet corn and melon. And that propelled me to start the project. Presently, we are still planting. We started planting today again. So, you know, I thought about the other needs that the school would have, that you can't go into the school resources on hand to get it. There are some emergency needs that I strongly believe that out of this I could. And that was what sparked me today, just to get busy. And I said, yeah, I wish they could come a little earlier, you know, so that I could sell the produce to help the teachers with additional credit for them to run their online classes.
If I may add something to that, Miss Iris, I have a little problem with this cash crop thing that's going on in Roma. I really do have a big problem with it. And but here's my problem. I was in Jamaica the other day and I see watermelon. And the principal didn't offer me no watermelon. And 2 days after
Thank
I leave,
God.
he take the watermelon and go sell people. Like to my money no good. You know,
Thank
so I
you,
have a problem. I
Jesus.
mean, I get no watermelon. Me can't taste
Thank
no.
you, Lord.
And now me see last week, me see them a read corn.
Thank you,
And
Jesus.
I'm not able to
Hallelujah.
get no corn.
Glory to
So
God.
I
You know
have a
why?
problem with that.
You know why I'm happy?
Oh,
And I
my
don't have a
order is
problem
still in
with
the freezer, you know.
I don't have a problem with it because you're always going to Jamaica. You're always using Facebook to show us all the things. So can you imagine if you had gotten a melon off that farm and Mr. Gordon, Mrs. Reynolds, myself, and the other members did not get any? Wayne, can you imagine how you would have blown up Facebook with it and thrown it in our feet, Mrs. Bailey? I love you. I could give you a hug.
I beg to differ. I would have done nothing more than make you proud, because I would have spoken so eloquently about the products from the grounds of Rosemount. And so you would have been, and more so when you see the way I would have bitten into this with this watermelon, you'd have seen juices running down my lips. You would have salivated with joy. So you would have been
Dolores,
proud.
do
I
you
heard the
support
corn.
me on do you support
Yes,
me on this?
yeah,
Mr.
but I heard
Gordon,
the
what do
corns
you
are
say?
so sweet. I
Well,
heard the corns are so sweet, Marcia. The
I, I,
corn.
I
I
understand
do
what
not
is
care to
going
know
on,
about the corn, Miss Reynolds.
but I also think, you know, the principal, we shouldn't really have the principal going out planting corn. You understand? She should be educating. That's her job, you know. So because, as you know, the alumni has proposed to the school and board that
Mhm.
we can farm the land and we will secure market for all our produce, and the school, we will put up our money to do all of that, and the school will really will inherit all the benefits, you know. But we
Well,
look
you know, the
to that
sad
in
thing
future.
about it is that COVID came and COVID turned a lot of the
Yeah,
plans. It
yeah.
has put it on the back burner. So I'm sure as time goes on, I'm sure
Yes,
that
yes, yes.
the board and everything will
I
be.
I know we will be getting to that. We will relieve the principal of her farming duties.
And I find
But guess what? I don't think the principal wants to be relieved,
no,
Mr. Gordon,
No,
because
she
oh,
wants to do our catch crop.
our principal
I,
is an
I love it.
hands-on
I
person.
love it.
Our
Yeah,
principal is one who teaches by doing.
Yes.
And that's the best way
Yeah.
to actually
Yeah.
teach. In
yeah.
early childhood, it tells you that, you know, some teacher go to a class and they take up the pens and they ask the student, "What is this?" And they
Mhm.
expect the students to tell them. But when I was being trained in early childhood, I was told that you educate your students. Hi, class, this is a pen. And
Yes.
then you ask the group collectively, what is this I'm holding? That is a pen. And then you can go to the individual students So we were taught that you introduce.
Yeah, we know we were not able to get her out the farm.
Right.
But at
And
least
Sister Marcel, yeah,
we need to, because we don't want her to burn out, you know. You understand? I hear
Oh,
people
our
talking what she want. She would be a good politician. She's none of that. She is an educator. You understand?
But
Very good one
How to
too.
con. You understand? She teach
Dammy
people how to
Plan is a condom a
to teach,
Rosemount.
to teach people how to fundraise, to teach people how to network. See, she's an educator. This is what is her duty. You understand? So she will be involved with all of these things, but we don't want her burnout. And I don't want to not mention no politics on her. She not have nothing even a politician business. You understand?
and Sister Marcel, you made a very good point as we speak about even the initiative. While alumni along with the board and so on will work on the major project, I also want to hold that little section too, because even the infant department, I envision, Miss Harris, where they can have their small beds at the back section of the school. That's my vision.
Mhm.
You know, those small beds, and you know, I could say infant one, they teach along with her class would select whatever crop they want to have them, and they go out there for the agriculture time and so
Yeah.
on, you know. So you want them to have that foundation, not to say that it's large or the cedar. So I'm looking in that too, because say for example you have 1 to 6, this bed could be for grade 1, grade 2,
Mhm.
3, grade 4, and we
So
have it
each each
space.
each each
I,
each
I,
class has
but
a
I,
plot.
Yes,
I
yes,
Okay.
remember
and
I remember my little plot down there when
yes.
we first learn about germination. You understand?
Yeah.
And how my little peas grow. You understand? Over
It's
so
very
But
important, and it's a
but
part of the
Tammy, do you
curriculum.
remember that a part of what we did in farming there? I remember planting chocho. You know chocho, right? I remember we had this little arbor that the chocho would grow,
yeah,
and we would plant chocho and we would watch it grow. You
yeah.
know,
I
I
remember
was saying
planting
I
peas.
was saying to somebody the other day that even growing up with my grandmother, I had my little plot that I would plant my peanut, my peas, and my chocho. And I was reminding somebody the other day that back in the days, the chocho bed, you used to use the soap water. That is what my grandmother used to throw at the root of the
Show and
chocho
late.
tree. Yes, to make it grow and flourish and bear. Anyhow, that is education for some persons who,
Agriculture.
yeah,
no,
but let
that
me
they're
let me
ignorant.
let me join in supporting Madam Principal. I think that is such a wonderful idea, because those little traits leaves indelible marks upon children. Um,
Children.
I must tell you that here I am now, 50 years of age, and I am still, at the years of age, still planting. Out in back of my yard right now. I just went out on Sunday and cut my callaloo. I have okra, I have eggplant, I have scallion. I had friends came over this weekend, gave them scallion and thyme, my tomatoes, my collard green, my kale, squash, you
How
know.
big is the wind? We know. Be careful. Be careful. We will coming up there.
Oh,
Look here, Mr.
and
Wind.
nothing is wrong with that. I have a gate, and you will have to pay an
Lock.
entrance fee. Raw must benefit from it. Rosemont must benefit from it. Of
Okay.
course, absolutely. I'll sell a bungalow color in a minute.
Yeah.
We'll be right into the kitty to Rosemont.
Right.
Tell him that he needs to take the treasurer or the assistant when they are coming, right? Yes,
Absolutely,
exactly.
absolutely.
So, we're rounding up because we are already 1 hour 45 minutes, and it seems as though we could talk forever. But, Madam Principal, I'm going to give you, before I give you the closing floor, I'm here thinking that there are some men, you have some men who they do great, excellent job. You can give some man a house to tidy up and they will tidy it up, man, to the T. But you know what? Sometimes no matter what they do, there's a little bit of twisting and turning that the woman will always come and see that, oh honey, you did a good job, but there was just this one little tidbit. And so I've looked at the institution of Rosemount. And over the years, we have had two other females who have acted, not appointed. But here you are, the first officially appointed. You're still not yet fully 100% appointed female principal. And you have, within less than 3 years, created such a footprint in the sand of times of Rosemount. Do you think that the fact that you're a female, the fact that you have some maternal instinct, wifely instinct, motherly instinct, do you think that has anything to do with the turnabout that you've had on Rosemount? Might sound like a silly question, but
No, it's really important. All right, so let me give you some examples, and I believe it's my female. It has probably has to do with that.
mhm.
I'm driving through Linstead Market to sell my corn, and the men saw me, and I just drove up. Hi, gentlemen, how are you? And I went out there in my suit and quiet, and I didn't have to come out of the car, and they bought all the corn. And I spoke with them, and I don't know if it's a female thing because I know some men can talk, but I use that to really communicate and to share with them the vision of the school. And oftentimes when I speak, Miss, it happens. I tell you, they listen. And what I do also, read the motherly side. Every person who comes, I share with them some of my personal experience. For example, having 3 children, having 2 active in school, and I know what it is, and I will say to them, I understand what you're going through. I myself am a mother, and I capture their attention as a result. So I strongly believe that the finesse from, the nurturing side of the female anatomy, it really is the process. Touching at the heart of people makes a difference.
And that is why, gentlemen, that is why as women, we are the childbearers. It's gifted upon us to bring life to fruition. Mr. Wint, I see you laughing, and I know what you're thinking.
Let me.
Madam Principal, I'm coming to you, President Gordon. I would love the opportunity. When I look at all that you have done and you have achieved, our season 1 here at CS Bite and the Mouthful will end about the second week in August. And I know that you've recently entered, and this you've been doing each year since you've been there, the JCDC finals. You've come out with trophies. You recently had your graduation program, which was virtual. And I would love the opportunity. Our platform, we can do 10 persons. I'd love the opportunity to speak with some of your parents, outstanding students, and to have a student or two who have medaled in the JCDC join us before the end of our season 1.
That's a very good suggestion. Very
So,
good.
I'm a proud Rosemount student. And, as our secretary attested to, when we were going to Rosemount, I thought that I was the poorest of the poor. But then I come now and meet upon my friend Dell, and Dell was telling me, boy, you really don't know what poor is, because I too was poor.
Of
And I
course.
meet upon Tammy, and Tammy was telling me, say, boy, things never so pretty. And I meet up on other students, and they're like telling me their story, and I'm like, what? Man, if I knew all of that when I was going to school.
We are not the only rich one, I come from town and never know orange and all of that things.
Exactly. Yeah, we had to incorporate it.
So
Yeah, because
we didn't come
we
to
have
realize
to walk behind the school.
realize poor is
Can
a
I,
good thing,
Madam
because poor
Principal,
people
can I tell you that I'm
all of
counting
them
that
things.
lesson? Because had not God in his infinite wisdom see it fit to put me amongst these wonderful people, where would I be?
I'm I'm telling you, Mr. Wint, trust me, you have the ability to take an offering any day, anytime, any moment.
Mercy.
And
Yes,
Mercy.
man.
I
But
just
go ahead, Mr.
I
President.
just want to mention, for Mr. Herman Williams, he presented the scholarships that were presented the scholarship on the behalf of the alumni. We
Hmm.
did three scholarship for the students, the outstanding boy and girl and the most improved student. So he did those presentation for us, and we want to say congratulations to those students. I've
Hmm.
seen in action, and and they truly deserve So next year, we will hope to do the same. So it is a part of our bylaws to be giving scholarship as afforded. But
Hmm.
so we want to thank Mr. Williams for presenting those awards on our behalf.
Okay, and our principal earlier on spoke about the contributions, or our president, I think, spoke about some contributions and ways that you guys have been able to give back to the institution. Um, she spoke about her registration drive and the fact that she has 107 students who are actively enrolled and should be attending the school come September. I know that this alumni has a drive that is going on. Mr. President, would you like to tell us about that?
Yes, what
To
we
assist with the registration?
I remember when we were going to school, there are a few things that we used to get. We used to get uniform material. I don't know if you remember, Dell, but we used to get our uniform material. So
Mm-hmm.
when we thought of registration drive, we know that there are students who it is parents that it is challenging for them to find a uniform, and to provide uniform would be a great help most of these family. So the board come together and say, yes, we will, along with the registration, you will get your first set of uniform. And we've been doing that now 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
you know. I must say, that wasn't when I spoke with Patricia Spence, that from the Past
Student.
Association, we talked about doing that when we just um, met. Although I never met her personally, but when we first spoke, but we went on to do it, and we continue to doing it now. But
Okay.
it is a good initiative, and it has been. I'm not sure if that's the reason why the kids are coming in rows, but there was a time the principal going around the community in sun and rain. But now I see the parents are coming to the school now, so they know
Right.
Rosemount, nobody shied away from Rosemount as whatever school it was. Now
Plus,
they're coming because they know
for me,
what.
I think it has a lot of space. The school has a lot of space for the children. So I think that is one of the plus as well, you
Yes,
know.
Yeah, and
yes,
I think the surrounding has a lot to do with it because it's kind of set right and like up on that little incline, so the fresh breeze is coming in, and just the community on a whole gives a sense of peace and calm and stuff like that. So I think it has a lot to do with it.
yeah.
But
And they would have to come to experience that, so that is what
right.
keep them, that's what keep them there. And that's
Okay.
what have them going and tell the others about it,
Okay, great.
with that.
So, I'm gonna wrap up now because we are almost 2 hours. Well, we started late, so we're about an hour and 45 minutes, which is about the average time that we would run. But there are some other persons who have just been giving us some comments, and let me just go back and just acknowledge those persons watching on Facebook or via YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are not on YouTube, or if you are currently viewing on YouTube, we ask you that you just give us some likes, share your comments. But most of all, we ask you that you subscribe to CS Bite and the Mouthful. And if you've already subscribed, please share the information with your family and your friends and ask them to subscribe in support so that we can continue to keep CS Bite and a Mouthful going. And so we had already mentioned Donna Thompson. We have now Jessette Anderson, who has joined the conversation. We also have, and that is it because weekly we have persons joining, watching, but they don't comment. If you're watching the show, please comment, even just to say hi, because that's the only way that we can acknowledge you, and that's the only way that we will actually know that you're seeing the program and that you're sharing in with us. And then we have Janice Lane Gray. I think isn't that one of your teachers, Mrs. Bailey?
She is a teacher at the school in Spanish Town. We graduated from St. Thomas Technical together. She lives in Spanish Town now. So
Okay.
she teaches at well, a school in Spanish Town, yeah.
Okay. And then we have Camille Malcolm. Proud of you, Mrs. Bailey, and the other stakeholders.
She's also a former teacher. We taught together at Green Park. Mrs. Anderson was also a teacher at Green Park, but she's now the guidance counselor at Thompsontown High School in Clarendon.
Okay, and we have one of our illustrious past students, Frederick Grant, and he's saying hi. Hi, Frederick. Thank you so much for joining us. And so I'm going to ask all of us here. There are a few questions that I would still like to pose, but I don't want the program to become, overbearing. So I'm going to stop it here and ask each person just to take a moment or two and just give us your closing thoughts here. So Gordon, before I do that, is there an appeal that you would like to throw out? I'm going to ask both Mr. Gordon, Mrs. Reynolds, Miss Bailey, in your closing, Mr. Wint, in your closing, just to throw out an appeal to past students, members of families of past students, in support of the alumni. So I give you all 2 minutes or so. I yield the floor to Madam Principal first, and then I will go to Mrs. Reynolds, and then I'll go to Mr. Wayne, and then close with President Gordon.
Okay, thank you. So in my closing statements, I want to say thank you wholeheartedly on behalf of the Board of Governors, the academic, administrative, and ancillary staff for the tremendous outpouring from the Rosemount alumni who hosted the session to promote what is happening at Rosemount and the integral role the alumni is playing in seeing the success. And we say thank you. My greatest desire is for the persons of Linstead and its surrounding communities to understand that Rosemount will be great again. How so? When you entrust to us your children, and we have already made it clear, and we will continue to make clear, that Rosemount is no longer a junior high school, no longer an all-age school. Rosemount is a primary and infant school, and we offer cutting-edge education just as any other school in the Linstead and the surrounding communities. And we, in extension, Jamaica, we are a cut above many as we seek to grow and to expand in this community. So we ask you to forget about the stigma. Take a walk onto the compound of Rosemount. Sit and talk with us. Let us tell you about the history, where we are now, and what our projections are. You won't ever go wrong with that. I won't talk to you over the media. Come and talk to us. Presently, we are registering for September. And although school is officially on summer holidays, the office is open every day to accommodate you. whether my secretary or my vice principal or myself. You can come and talk, and you will understand where we are as an institution. To the business community, we want to thank you for what you have done, and we encourage you to continue to partner with us as we seek to educate the children of Jamaica. Thank you so very much, and have a wonderful evening.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Somebody got tossed off again. So Mrs. Reynolds, each time she is to come up on board, she keeps disappearing. Here she is again. So let me get her back on board. See, gentlemen, the brave may yield, may, how does it go? The brave may, whatever, but never yield. Don't even remember my whatever. So, Mrs. Reynolds, your parting
Hi
word
guys, I'm back.
your, and your appeal to past students to become a part of the Rosemount Alumni Association.
I didn't get that, Marcia. I'm
I'm
sorry.
asking you, I'm yielding the floor to you to leave your parting words. And in your
Okay.
parting words, I'm asking you to appeal to a past
Oh,
student of the Rosemount.
okay, Marcia. Thanks for having us tonight on your show. And as a past student of Rosemount, I implore all those students who have ever even put foot into Rosemount to support this great venture, support this school. And I just want to commend all the stakeholders for their continuous support on making Rosemount Alumni and Rosemount Junior and Primary School the school of choice. Thank you.
Short, sweet, and to the point. Mr. Wint.
Yes, ma'am. Again, let me express my gratitude and sharing with you on this very special occasion to speak about this illustrious institution, of which I am proud to be a member of this past student association and the one who have gone through the gates of Rosemont. Let me say this. Just recently, I was speaking with a friend, and I've heard him speak of something that I've heard over the many years that I've been involved in alumni association. He said, if every past student who graduated from a school in Jamaica would turn around and give $10 to that institution, we would have eliminated the stress and burden oftentimes placed on the government to properly subsidize the schools. But I want to do one even better. I want to say to every past student who have graduated Rosemount and have traveled on to greater and better things in life. If you have traveled outside of the country of Jamaica, I'm asking you to pledge within yourself to give $5 back to Rosemount. But if you have not left the country of Jamaica and you're still in Jamaica, um, may I ask that you pledge to give $1,000 each past student? Just give $1,000. And truth be told, when this day would have finished today, you'd have checked your finances and you would not be able to account for $1,000.
Hmm.
Also, we abroad would have the day would have ended, Tommy, and we would not have been able to account it for $10, $15. But if you pledge within yourself to give $5 back to this noble institution, you would have helped one boy, one girl to further their chance of having a great and better education, and which we implore you to do so. In the voice of a very dear friend of mine and a fellow alumnus, Oliver Samuels, I would like to say, look here now, wanna do something for Rosemont. Yeah. Whatever on the can do, only do it, and then we appreciate it. Thank you. No.
Oh no.
Thanks, Tenure.
Well, you are so true, right, Wayne. It takes cash to care, I was talking to a young lady this evening. Her, her daughter was born in the US and she's a teacher. So I told her to log on and watch the show, and she need to buy some ticket and support the school. And she was talking about the challenges between our school and the school here. And I'm telling her the cost that it takes to educate one child here, we could that same amount that would do for the budget for Rosemount. So if you're here, and as Wayne says, it takes cash to care. And if you're not even a past student, but when you give to Raw, you're giving to Jamaica. You're giving to the future of Jamaica. So we have our raffle going on. It's a mega raffle. And the cash, the grand prize is a 2021 Toyota Camry. And if you don't want the Camry, you can get it in cash, which is $25,000 US. First prize is a $2,500. Second prize, $2,000. Third prize, $1,500. Fourth prize, 1,000, and fifth prize, $500. And the ticket only costs $5. You can contact me. You all know me. Call me up, and you can get your tickets. But outside of that, I just want to say thanks to the board of Raw, for the camaraderie, the togetherness, and the goal and passion that you all have for Rosemount. And because it is no one-man show in Raw. We all do this thing together. I might be here and, call Wayne and call Marcia late night and or Dell early morning, and I said, Dell, did you do this? But they never said, don't call me. They said, thank you for reminding me. You understand? And we are like that. So I want to say thanks to all of you. And Madam Principal, thanks for your leadership at Rosemount, because if you were not there, I am not sure if we would have been as successful as we are. So thank you. And to all the viewers out there, remember, RAW is a 501c3 organization. If you give to us, it is you determine where your tax dollar goes. If you don't give to us, your tax dollar goes somewhere where you not even know. But if you donate to us, you can write it off on your taxes. So you know that you are determined where your money is spent. So there's power in your hand. Use it. Okay? And thank you. And thank you, Marcia, for this forum, for help us to have us express ourselves about this noble institution called Rosemount, which mottos you're known by the good that you do, and you are doing some good. And our motto, Raw, we're lending a helping hand for excellence. So let's keep on using both mottos because it is futuristic. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. And in closing, I just want to say that as a past student and as the brainchild behind the Rosemont Alumni Association, it gives me pleasure to know that the association is in good hand. Because I am so accustomed to being a part of like Parent Teachers Association, starting different organizations. And when you have labored and you see your labor come into fruition, and you have a team that that whether or not you're a part of the organization, that organization will continue, it gives you a good sense of feeling. If I should die tomorrow, then tonight, tomorrow, whenever, then I know my children have a sense of pride, to say, okay, every time they hear the name Rosemont Alumni Association, they can say, well, my mom was the brainchild behind that. Or my friends can say, Marcia was the brainchild behind that. the Bible says that um, what did it say? We tell me a king doesn't have any whatever in their own country. What is that saying that it says like you don't get any recognition within your
No
own country?
status.
Right. I'm
Status.
not looking for recognition. I'm not looking for status because
Mhm.
guess what? Whatever comes from the brain and it goes on the paper and it goes out, that is enough for me. That is enough satisfaction. So I'm happy that we can be here, that we can spoke about my illustrious Rosemont alumni and the hands that have been channeling the Rosemount team, Mrs. Bailey, the chairman, Reverend Golden, President Gordon, Wayne Ron, Dolores, Patrick Dixon, um,
Leslie
uh,
Betancourt,
Betancourt,
Cedric
Ford,
Angus.
Cedric Angus,
Susan
Mr.
Morris,
Marshall, Susan Simmet. I
Susan,
myself
Susan Morris,
don't
Susan,
think Mr. Gordon had recognized my position. I am supposed to be the public relations
public
officer,
relations.
and I am ably assisted by Susan. And it gives me great pleasure and joy to have been here this evening to share with you all in this forum. As I said, I ask you that you give us some likes, give us some thumbs up, share, subscribe on our YouTube, Facebook page, and also just to let you know that come July 31, we have a fundraiser for Sears Bite and the Mouthful coming up. It will be a paint and sip. It can be done virtually where your kits, you can buy your kits on Etsy, or we can mail them to you, or we also we'll be having an in-house session where you can just come in. COVID now is kind of so people are meeting with this, good amount of social distancing and whatever. We can meet and greet and do our paint and sip and drink a glass of wine and just relate. So if you keep in tune to our page, we will also be having kits that will be mailing out to Jamaica because we are having a lot of requests coming from persons in Jamaica who wants to participate in this. So we will be sending kits into Jamaica. It's just that it's going to be a central area and pickup will have to be done from that point. We thank you as always for your support. There have been some other persons, Abigail Lewis, who have joined us. Proud to have my child at Rosemount. Thank you so much, Abigail. We really appreciate that. And we have Kamala Bernard. And she said, I'm so proud of you, Mrs. Bailey. You are a blessing to so many. So, for those of you watching us on Facebook, watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for commenting. Nov Baker, so proud of my sister, co worker, and friend, Mrs. Bailey. We say thank you all so very much for another amazing night. I don't know what is rubbing off. I guess it's because all of these persons on this forum this evening are long distance talkers. We have been looking at like almost 2 hours now. This is our longest show, and we hope that we have not bored you to death, but that you would have found this informative, educational, and inspiring. So until next week, Wednesday evening, when we will be having another interesting and informative program for you, this is Marcia Harris, Sears Bite and a Mouthful, saying good night to you all and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.